ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तन्न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः From number 7 amanitvam
amanitvamadambhitvam
ahimsa kshantirarjavam
ahimsa kshantirarjavam
acharyopasanam shaucham
acharyopasanam shaucham
धैर्यमात्म विनिग्रहः
धैर्यमात्म vinigraha
इन्द्रियार्थेषु वैराग्यम्
indriyarteshu vairagyam
अनहङ्कार एव च
anahankara evacha
जन्म मृत्युजरा व्याधि दुःखदोषानुदर्शनम्
जन्म मृत्यु जरा व्याधि दुःख दोषानुदर्शनम्
आसक्तिरनभिष्वङ्गः
असक्तिरनभिष्वङ्गः
पुत्रदारगृहादिषु
प्रदारगृहादिषु
नित्यं च समचित्तत्वम्
नित्यं च समचित्तत्वम्
इष्टानिष्टोपपत्तिषु
इष्टानिष्टोपपत्तिषु
मयि चानन्ययोगेन
मयि चानन्ययोगेन
भक्तिरव्यभिचारिणी
भक्तिरव्यभिचारिणी
विविक्तदेशसेवित्वम्
विविक्तदेशसेवित्वम्
अरतिर्जनसंसदि
अरतिर्जनसंसतिः
अरतिर्जनसंसदि
अरतिर्जनसंसदि
अध्यात्मज्ञाननित्यत्वम्
अध्यात्मज्ञाननित्यत्वम्
तत्त्वज्ञानार्थदर्शनम्
तत्त्वज्ञानार्थदर्शनम्
एतज्ज्ञानमिति प्रोक्तम्
एतज्ज्ञानमिति प्रोक्तम्
अज्ञानं यदतोऽन्यथा
अज्ञानं यदतोऽन्यथा
So we are getting into an important section of this chapter, 13th chapter. So if you look at Arjuna's question, Etad veditum ichhami jnanam jneyam cha keshava. That word jnana, that is what is being described here by Krishna. And generally, the word jnanam in our context typically means Atma Vidya, Brahma Vidya, okay, typically. But in this case, Krishna is listing everything we chanted. We chanted just now, we enumerated 20 values. 20 amanitvam, adambhitvam, ahimsa, shantihi, arjavam. Like that, Krishna listed, we chanted those 20 values. And those 20 values, Krishna is referring to as jnana. That is the way to understand this. And he's saying that the values in life are so important to us that just because we are studying some Brahma Vidya and all, we can't just forget our value systems. Values are superior. Values are very important. Values are what make us. Therefore, dharma comes before moksha. Artha kama is there. I have to follow dharma. Dharma goes along. Dharma is paramount. That is what is being, that is why he says is paramount. Therefore, I'm going to call these values itself as jnanam. Because if you have these values, Atma Vidya is a cakewalk. Cakewalk. Because but what is Krishna going to say? Kshetrakyam chap mam vidhi. He's going to say, and he's going to walk away. What are we going to make with that knowledge? If it has to mean something to us, he says these values are critical. It is not some textbook knowledge. Okay, something you write an equation and then exam, you get marks and then 100% pass the exam. It's not like that. This is values. And so that's a big difference here. That is why we can't equate this knowledge to any other knowledge. Every other thing we learn, you will have a lab. You have a lab. And then you have all kinds of practices, projects, this and that you'll have. But what project can you have here? Amanit, we're going to see the values. Okay, we're going to spend some time on these values. Each word is going to take us almost half a class or more. Okay, we will see and we will appreciate. I mean, we know values. Satyam Vada, Dharmam Chara. Every parent understands the importance of values. Child understands or not, we don't know, but parent understands the value. So, and then he said, my God, my parents, they did all this to me. I didn't know. It's so tough these days, like that the parents say these days, And so uh, that is what we are after. And jnanam. But then before that, Arjuna already asked a few things, right? Prakritim, Purusham, Chaiva, Kshetram, Kshetrajnam, Evacha. Okay, Prakriti and Kshetram are same. Therefore, we saw Kshetram and so Prakriti is covered. Arjuna doesn't know that they are really different. And that is like somebody coming and asking, please, Guruji, please teach us Vedanta. And by the way, please teach us Upanishad also. And then, so that means that person is new. He doesn't know what Vedanta is, but he has heard about Vedanta. So I want to know. And then teach Upanishad also, by the way, right? And so, uh, give us some food and also, by the way, give us some water also, right? So, like that, Prakriti, Purusha, Kshetram, Kshetran, Purusham, Kshetrajnam, and Nyayam, all three are same. We said that before when we came. And so, what happened to this Kshetrajna? Has Bhagavan Sri Krishna explained it yet? He indicated it, but he hasn't really explained it. And so, he said that in, what did he say? In verse number 3, Sachayo yat prabhavascha tat samasena me shrunu. He said that. Yat prabhavascha, that is kshetrajna. Okay. And shrunu, he says, and then he talked about kshetram, mahabhutan, yahankaro, etc. He explained, but he didn't explain kshetrajna. And that's because Kshetrajna is going to come up from Shloka number 12 onwards. Look at 12. Nyeyam yattat pravakshyami. Nyeyam. He's using the word nyeyam, which refers to Kshetrajnam, which also refers to Purusha. That is the way to understand this. Huh? So that's the order in which Krishna is telling us is next it's going to be this jnanam. Okay. Jnanam. So not Brahma Vidya, not Atma Vidya, not Kshetrajna Vidya. Okay. It is values. It is values, attitudes. He's going to refer to that as what? In the shloka number 11, Yetad Jnanam iti proktam. Everything that I've listed from 7 onwards, amanitvam, etc., this is jnanam. What I've told you is called as jnanam. Like that, he is going to mention, conclude this list. Okay? All right. So, this is, these are values which if we have, then it's as good as, then the rest of Vidya is just straightforward. You just listen to it and it will become clear to us. That is what he's going to say. So it's like it's Atma Vidya friendly values. How many it says? Atma Vidya friendly values. Like eco-friendly bag, eco-friendly this, eco-friendly that. Everything they say eco-friendly these days, right? So like that, eco-friendly. Then with that, we will gain a mind that is ready for this teaching. Like we saw in Kathopanishad, Uttishtata Jagrata Prapya Varan Nibodha. A famous statement of Vivekananda. Uttishtata. What did Shankara say? Shankaracharya said, Atmabhimukha bhavata. Like that he had explained. Means what? Turn yourself toward Atma Jnanam. Atma Jnana Bhimukha. I think that's what he said. Turn yourself towards Atma Jnanam. Towards Atma you should turn. That's what he had said there. That is the meaning of Uttishtata. So that this whole set of values will make us Uttishtata Jagrata. Correct? Jagrata, he says, Ajnana Nidrayaha Kshayam Kuruta. If I remember right. Means stop, put an end to this Ajnana Nidra, to the sleep of ignorance. Like that he had said there. Okay. So this Jnanam is going to be prepare us for this teaching. Okay? That's the way to understand. What happens if I don't have values? What happens if my life is not value based? Value based life. What will happen is that these subtle truths and all we can't understand, because if we are not value driven, then our mind is going to be crowded with so many things, and we will be unable to prioritize, and we'll be taking shortcuts wherever, etc. And so that is going to be a very different kind of life. And so it is like there is a shloka that says, Ajirne bhojanam visham. Just like if you give a baby a food that you would normally consume, then what will happen? The baby will have stomach ache because the baby is not yet ready to have those kinds of foods you are having, dals and this and that. Even dal, they will just cook it very well. They will put this, what is this, Python moong dal, they will quietly cook and mash it and all that and slowly give. And then observe what happens to the baby. Like that they do. Why? Because the digestive system is still just now is just crossed the stage of liquid, and suddenly you can't give all this 100% protein. I want my baby to be very strong. Baby can be strong. We'll wait for it, but first its digestive system should get ready to digest all that. So ajirne bhojanam visham. That food you give to the baby which is not digestible is poison for the child. Correct? Like that. Like that. Anabhyase Visham Shastram. Shastram you give to somebody who is unprepared, who is not, doesn't have values, dharma itself is not clear, then it becomes poison. That person will use it against you. Against you. That is also possible. And then he will say something or that. Okay, that is why. That is why sometimes the research that people do, companies do, research is a pursuit of knowledge, right? And if it's not motivated by the right values, that knowledge, that research output will be used for the wrong purposes. Okay, we see it periodically. We see that happening. Yeah, Anirudh, go ahead.
So I think this whole dharma yuddha is because of the decline in values, correct? The whole army of people who are supposedly from such good lineage and families, who are such jnanis, and they are taken the side of adharma. And I think this, in this context, Krishna is saying that the values will take you forward. Maybe we should. It's very easy to understand where that is coming from.
Sure, sure. And so in Atharva Sheesh Upanishad, those of you have chanted it. Okay. After chanting the Upanishad, at the end, in Palashruti, what it says, Yetad Atharva Sheesham Yadi Ashishyaya Deyam, na de, Yetad Atharva Sheesham Ashishyaya na Deyam. Na Deyam, not to be given, this Upanishad should not be given to somebody who is not a Shishya. Shishya means somebody who's not ready to learn. That somebody who's ready to learn is called a Shishya. Don't give it to an Ashishya. Yadi mohat dasyati sapapi yan bhavati. In case somebody does it, then that person, the person who taught the Atharva is a papi, it seems. That person is a papi. Okay, like that and all we have mantras. And uh, so it's not, we understand this, okay? And therefore all our Puranas are all full of stories of values only. You study the story of Dhruva, and you have to see it to believe it. A child, you tell the story to the child, every child will appreciate it because the father didn't allow the child to sit on the lap. It's the greatest shock for a small child, correct? Even a child can understand that pain. That pain will be there. Oh my God. And then mother says, Suniti, Suruchi. And Suniti says, no, what to do? Your father doesn't did that. I'm helpless. I can't help you. You pray to Vishnu. That's what she says. And this boy takes it seriously. Said, I'm going to pray to Vishnu. That's it. That's Dhruva's story. So, like this, numerable stories. And then if big stories are not Ramayana, Mahabharata is too big, we have Panchatantra, small stories. We all grew up reading all these comics. We used to come back from school and then look for these comics. And then not comics, we used to call them comics, but all these stories. And entire history of India we learned through this. We call it comic. I suppose we should say it comics. I don't know if there's another word. Is that Ananta Pai used to be the publisher of this
Amar Chitrakatha.
Amar Chitrakatha. Yeah. So, and then we have so many things written on values. Niti Shatakam is there. Bhartrihari wrote it. Like this, you have many authors writing about values. Niti Shatakam is all about values. Even though Bhartrihari wrote some Granthas, which are Vedanta Granthas, but still Niti Shatakam is there. And so, Kenopanishad, you have Agni, Vayu, everybody acting as though they have conquered the world. And then Uma, Parvati comes and then schools them on what is Dharma. And this arrogance does not befit you at all. Indra also gets schooled by Uma. Okay. And so all that is happening. Okay. So now we're going to start with these values. We're going to understand these values one after the other. Okay. First value is amanitvam. Amanitvam. Tvam. Whenever a word in Sanskrit is followed by the suffix, it means it is converting that word into a noun. Tvam. Ness. Ness in English. Whatever you say, ness. Goodness. Okay. and ness. Ness converts the verb into a noun. Okay. Talkativeness. Okay. Ness. You put a ness, it becomes a noun. Okay. So here you have all these manushyatvam. If you say what? Hey, it is the attribute, the state of being a manushya. It's not manushyatvam. Mumukshutvam. Mumukshu, one who searches for moksha, the one who seeks moksha is a mumukshu. And that attitude is called mumukshutvam. So that is the idea here. Tvam, nirgunatvam, pumstvam, pum, masculinity, pumstvam. Okay. Like that we have, right? We all know that. So that is that. So amanitvam, the status of an amani, the nature of an amani is called amanitvam. Mani. Mani is the word to understand here. Mani. Manaha asya asti iti mani. One who has mana is called a mani. Mana. Abhimana. Abhimana. Okay. Abhimana means thinking oneself to be, in this case, thinking oneself to be great, thinking one's accomplishments to be great. Okay. So a person has accomplished, legitimate accomplishments are there. Person has done, whatever he has accomplished. Other people around him consider him to be accomplished also. Okay. Maybe he has got some good studies, etc. Got a great job. Those days, government job means it's a very big thing. Those days. Because you're serving the country, you've joined the government and you'll be given some assignments, you may have to travel, etc. Everything, so many things are there. So it's a big responsibility. They used to take it as a responsibility. And so then that person is called accomplished, right? Now, this guy, self-conceit, this guy says, I'm a very accomplished guy, then he demands respect for that. He demands respect from others. That person is a mani. That person is a mani. Okay. Legitimate accomplishments are there, and then Padma Shri, Padma Vibhushan, Padma Shri, Padma Bhushan, Padma Vibhushan, Bharat Ratna, everything is there. Okay, legitimate accomplishment. It is the responsibility of the society to recognize people with accomplishments. It is the responsibility of society, government. So at home, the parents should recognize the children's accomplishment. Yes, I'm very happy that you did this. You worked hard for it, you got it. Great. We're proud of you. Good. So that thing that's a natural need for a human being to be recognized for what they are. That's all. So that praise starts at home. Then in school, have to be accomplished. Have to be recognized. Then colleges, some accomplishments. College administration should recognize, teachers should recognize, professors should recognize, students. So sports competition, all these things, they have debates, etc. Recognize. So that has to happen. And then join a job, there also company should recognize performance or any other things that the company values should be recognized. And so that's very important. When a person gets recognized in that manner, then what happens? The person automatically commands respect. What does it mean of commanding respect? Just by being that person makes other people respect this person. And that person also respects other people equal. There is no question of disrespect. So commanding respect means that fact, okay? That fact that the person is accomplished and therefore people respect. But this guy, his accomplishment may be big, maybe small, but he demands respect from others. Is the difference. Commanding respect versus demanding respect. If you don't respect me, then I will ill-treat you, I will mistreat you, I will do something or the other. Okay? That's a huge problem, correct? That's a huge problem. Person is seeking recognition. Person is seeking approval. Only when everybody does that, he feels good about himself, herself. Okay? And so, that's the problem here that is described by the word manitvam. Tvam. Manitvam means demanding respect. And it's called conceited, being conceited. That is the word they use in English. And so the problem is what? I am not comfortable if people don't respect me. At home, people don't respect me, or around me, people don't respect me. I am not comfortable at all. I'm constantly thinking about myself. Okay, legitimate accomplishment, nothing wrong. You're a great guy. Okay, granted. But this guy is full of. They say he's full of himself. I think this full of himself. I think they use that word. Huh? Right, right. Full of himself. He's constantly talking about oneself. I think that's what it is. And so, if people praise this person, then that praise becomes an addiction. Becomes an addiction. It should not be an addiction, okay? But for this person, it becomes an addiction also. And so, first of all, it demands, and then he gets it, and then it becomes an addiction. So, double problem is there. And the legitimate name and fame is there, but that person's esteem depends on that demanded name and fame and applause and accolade and all that stuff, right? And so, what's the problem here? Why is this not wrong? Or why is this wrong? It's wrong because the person doesn't recognize that our accomplishments are not entirely our own making. Correct? Too many people and factors have made me who I am. Starting from my own parents, somebody had to take care of me for years and years and years and fed me the right food, and so that I could be healthy, okay, and paid for my this and schooling and college and whatnot. It's endless for 15, 20 years. It's constant. Parents are behind this boy or girl. Okay, so much has gone through, and on top of that, getting a job, getting admission is another headache. Getting a job, you got to keep talking to so many people, and somebody heard you, and somebody said, "Okay, call this person." You call the person, they interviewed you, and then you got a job. After all this effort, somebody, that one call made it happen.
That too for the sake of the parents.
I forgot all of this. I forgot all of this. And I'm sitting here claiming that I am this guy who did all these things. You should respect. Hey, there are so many vendors getting vegetables and getting food and getting so many things. And so many people are doing seva to this one person. Okay? Person is one, but the entire machinery is working for this person only. What to talk about farmers who are raising food every day in and day out and putting up with weather, inclement weather, and they are dealing with the stress. All you do is go to the store and pay some money and get some rice and wheat and dal. No, it's not possible. It's not possible. The government is thinking about all these things. They are talking about how to protect the interests of the country. India is one of the largest exporters of rice and wheat also, I think. So it has to think about other countries. So there is some export discussions and all, right? So it's a huge responsibility for the governments. So much is going on. I am a product of so many factors, and electricity is there. Parents have struggled to provide air conditioning in my room so that I could study comfortably. They have sold their jewelry to make me who I am. All these things are going on. And who am I to say I did this, I alone did this? So that's a completely warped idea of life. Reality. Warped idea of reality. And so this is and then on top of that, in the Bhagavad Gita, also in the chapter 10, Vibhuti Yoga, he says, Aksharanam Akarosmi. A. So you are a big speaker, you are a big writer and all. Okay. He says, did you know that Aksharanam Akarosmi? So did you know Sri Krishna is Akara, Ukara, Makara, everything? All these letters is all Sri Krishna. Did you know that? Did you invent all these things? Letters, did you invent? No. Language, did you invent? No, I didn't invent language. What did you invent? He did. No, none of this I invented. Okay. Everything, nothing you did. And then, ahameva kshaya kalaha. Krishna is saying, aham kalaha. Time also I am, he says. He takes away time from me. Time you borrowed from Krishna. Okay. Time also. You borrowed from Krishna. What else he says? Mrityu sarvaharas chaham. That chapter is very interesting. Mrityu. He is going to come in the form of Mrityu. Be careful, okay? And then Kirtihi, Shrirvacha, Narinam, Smritihi, Meda, Dhritihi. Oh, you are very intelligent. Meda. Meda Shakti is Krishna. That's what he says. Dhritihi, you put a lot of effort. Really? It's all in your initiative? Yes, it's all my initiative. Okay, it's your initiative. But you should also periodically think of Krishna also. Krishna says that is his also. What this guy has is a small portion of what I have. Like that Krishna says, of me. And then all this big list he gives. Okay. Ritunam Kusumakaraha, Jayosmi. All the successes is all my success, Krishna is saying. So where is the question of you just walking away, saying that you are this and you are that? There is that's illegitimate. It's not going to work out. And so Yachapi Sarvabhutanam Bijam Tadaham Arjuna. 10th chapter. We are coming towards the end of 10th chapter. Everything that happens, I'm the bijam, he says. I'm the cause for everything that happened. And so, how can I say that I exclusively did? I was in the right place at the right time. Often that is how it is. Right place in the right time. So I got all the things that many others could not get. Okay. That's a nice attitude to have. And so, Yesha Tuddeshataha Proktaha. Finally, he says, I'm only giving you a sample of who I am, but there is a lot more. Like that, Krishna, concluded that chapter, if you all remember. And so, others' contributions, when am I going to acknowledge? If I keep thinking of myself, it won't work like that. So, there are too many problems with this. And then, another fact I won't know is that even though I am the greatest, if I think, and in this race called rat race, even though I'm first, I will still be a rat only. I can't become a cat also, I can't become. I will be a rat only. Everybody will, that's how it is. That's a reality. And of course, I can't appreciate others. That's also a problem, huge problem. And you tell somebody, you tell some positive things about our Prime Minister. He did this, he did that, Modi did all these things, etc. You tell, and the person will say, oh, he doesn't know how to keep a marriage. How is he going to take care of a country? Some argument, this mind, they are very sharp people, by the way. Such people are very sharp thinkers. They know exactly what to say and put people down. They know it. And so they will do all these things. And so one way for me to check if I have this manitvam or if I'm an amani is to ask, can I admire people? Can I admire? Anybody who comes, can I appreciate somebody's work? Can I appreciate somebody's gesture? Whatever. So if I can do that, then if it comes naturally to me, then that's the value that's being talked about here. And this value is important because otherwise this door of bhakti is closed to me. There is Ishvara is gone, is not in the picture at all. If at all Ishvara is there, just because I'm insecure, I need God also. Therefore, periodically, I will just do something. That is a maximum. Bhakti is nowhere in the scene. And so, we saw the stories of, this Prahalada, Hiranyakashipu and all that. And father says, you have to sing my praise. And the son is constantly saying, Om Namo Narayanaya. Correct? Om Namo Narayan. And this fellow says, no, you have to say Om Hiranyakashipave Namaha. Om Hiranyakashipave Namaha. Why does it budge? So this guy doesn't know what to do. So that will become the fate of this person, of this Mani, when pushed to the extreme. And so amanitvam means what? Absence of self-conceit, absence of self-worshipfulness, absence of self-gloating. In short, humility. Humility is another word that can be used for amanitvam. And that's why when we study and read, when we truly are committed to knowledge, any subject we read, we will become humble. You know why? Because we find that, my God, there is so much to study. I know only so little. This feeling we'll get. And so we automatically become humble. I may know a lot, but still that lot is also little only. There's always much. And you come to the Shastram also, it's the same thing we saw the other day. Book after book is coming. And you wonder, when am I going to finish all this? And so, humility and sometimes just to understand one word, we spend hours and hours and hours. Just hours. I will not sleep until I understand this word thoroughly. I want to understand what is in Shankara's mind. Why did he use this word? Suppose you think like that, then what will happen? It means your commitment is to Satyam. You're saying that I want to know it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if time is just fleeting. I need to understand this. So that's the power of this kind of humility and commitment to truth. And so it's a question of, where is the question of criticizing our acharyas? It doesn't matter. Karacharya, Ramanujacharya, no chance. We can't criticize anybody. Why? You know why? Because in order to criticize an Einstein, even I have to be an Einstein. Only an Einstein can criticize an Einstein. Simply sitting and just talking something, oh, what did he do? What did they do? And all is not acceptable. Not acceptable. And so, Shankaracharya writes a Shatpadi Stotram. Shatpadi Stotram, you can look it up. Avinayam Apanaya Vishnu. Hey Vishnu, Avinayam Apanaya. Vinaya means humility. Avinaya means lack of humility. This idea that I am so and so, I am a big guy, I'm a very smart guy, I'm an educated scholar, I'm a scholar. This is called Avinayam. He says Avinayam Apanaya. Take away my amanitvam. That's what he says. Shankaracharya is writing this. Shatpadi Stotram. Avinayam Apanaya Vishnu Damaya Mana Shamaya Vishaya Mrigatrishna. Then he continues. Vishaya Mrigatrishna. He goes off. He says, this whole world, which is a mirage, Krishna means mirage. World of mirages, you just make me so I don't get trapped by this world. Like that, he says. So, this is called amanitvam, absence of conceitedness, self-conceit, humility, absence of self-gloating. That is called amanit. Yeah. Now, next word, next value he's talking about is called adambhitvam. Similar, it is a similar idea, right? Amanitvam, adambhitvam. So we need to understand what this damba is. Damba, dambi. Dambi is one who has damba. Damba is like a mani. Damba also is gloating about himself, oneself. He is also demanding respect. But there is one problem, one major problem, major difference. The difference is the mani wants you to respect him for his, her legitimate qualifications. This Damba does not have any qualification. And for non-existent qualifications, this guy wants respect. How does he do that? He has a way of doing that. So you call this guy and then he says, hey, what happened? You're not picking up the phone. I've been trying you for 2 days, 3 days. Yeah, I became very busy. Don't tell this to anybody, okay? This Narendra Modi, Narendra Bhai called me and said he might come this side. And so I'm just, long ago when he was CM of Gujarat, we worked together on many projects. And so I was just reviewing some notes and I wanted to have a good discussion with him. So I've been spending some time on Narendra Modi. And next time you call, he will tell you something about Bill Gates. Bill Gates is calling me to Seattle. Really? And then everybody will go, my God, if somebody talks like this, what will you do? Really? You know Bill Gates so well? He calls you on the phone? Really? Can you get me a free license of Microsoft Office? So that's how it is. You throw some names in between. We all throw names. Just one name like that we throw. Just some they think we are great. This Dambi is like that. He wants attention. This fellow, poor guy, doesn't have anything to talk about. So he keeps throwing names. Draws attention to people, to himself, rather. And so this is also demand for respect. Demand for respect for accomplishments he or she does not have. How sad it is, right? How sad this is. And Swamiji tells, for this person, every finger is a ring finger, it seems, because he has rings everywhere. In all fingers are rings. The rings are there. Even though the rings belong to the bank, it seems. Even though these rings belong to the bank, still he has all these rings. Oh, really? So, feeling of richness. I can feel rich without rings. I can feel rich with rings also. And who am I? And so that emptiness, the sense of emptiness. I am no good, but I need to feel good. I am no good, but I need to feel good. I am no good, but I need to feel good. So I need people to praise me. That is how I feel good. And I will create situations which will make people praise me. Correct? Creating situations. That's what it is. And therefore, what will I do? This person do? This person will draw attention to himself by different types of dresses, all this jewelry, and these kinds of external embellishments. And of course, other concocted stories will be that person. This is the symptom of Damba. Damba manifests in these kinds of ways. And so the head turner, they say head turner. Is that a word? Head turner means something where people will look. Color the hair green. Color the hair green. That's enough. Everybody will look. Look, what's going on? Wow. They don't know whether to appreciate you or just stuck. That's it, over. Really? Is that the latest fashion? To color your hair red or brown or whatever. Black, not black. Black industry is different industry. But green. Yeah, I've seen green hair and all. I've seen all that. Or you just cut. You should not do like this. What you should do is you should shave off everything and then leave one little portion in the middle like this. Looks like a crown, natural crown. Yeah, I think all of us have seen that. That's one kind of crop. Or do something else. Just shave it like this, and then like this, and then like this. There's so many ways of doing things if we want attention. And these days you see all that. Now the jeans they wear is all very interesting. Somebody I saw the boy here. Saw a man here, and I said, "What are you doing?" No, we have come to fix the AC. This guy's jean is torn on the knee. Both the knees, the jean is all torn. And this fashion has been there for a while now. So seeking attention. Look at all the things we do when we are deprived of attention. That's why it's important. Parenting is so important. We make a mistake there, then that mistake manifests itself and ruins our entire life. And so Low self-esteem is one of the symptoms of this kind of a problem, right? Self non-acceptance is there constantly. Therefore, that's one thing. Second, this person is going to be busy. Busy doing what? Teaching his children or anything like that? Teaching some, helping the society, etc. No, this person is going to be busy concocting stories. Next story, next time you are going to visit his home, he has to make up something to tell you. Next story, what is going to be. And then if you tell one lie, you have to tell few more lies to back up that one lie because it will be found, the lies can be found out. And so this guy is constantly calculating. I should say this, and next time when you come, I should, oh, then that fellow will come. Then those two will talk to each other. Therefore, I have to find a way in which truth won't be found out. This is the constantly this is what is going. And so this guy is going to be busy. His mind is going to be occupied, very occupied. Okay? So adambhitvam, absence of pretension. Everything here is pretension, right? Pretending to be somebody that I am not. That is called dambhitvam. That is the right way to put it. Pretending to be somebody else. That's why they used to always say, when you're giving a talk, or when you're especially giving a talk or in other circumstances like that, they will tell you, just be yourself. Just be yourself. Don't be tense, because public speaking and all is not an easy thing for everybody. And standing in the stage means it's just very unnerving to many people. And so they will say, just be yourself. Just speak naturally. Just maybe if you want, write, jot down a few points, but then speak naturally. Be yourself. Be yourself. Means even though an attempt is there, you're doing something that you've never done before, and so it's making that person nervous. Then be yourself. Just be natural. Don't worry. If you're natural, people will enjoy. But that person won't understand that, because now that person is thinking, my God, what happens if I go to the stage and forget what I'm supposed to say? Just like that, I stare means what happens? All these fears are all there. So be yourself. This guy is not himself. He's not, never is this person himself person. That's it. That person is called a Dambhi. Dambhi. So I used to wonder, many friends, I used to have friends in the US, working professionals, or studying sometimes in school, getting a graduate degree, etc. Sometimes what happens, and then of course some people take to drinking alcohol and all that. It's all okay. It's all in America, anything goes. And so, and then they'll start playing tennis. That also is okay. Everything is fine. Suddenly they'll say, I'm playing golf. None of this is wrong. Playing golf is of course not wrong. What do you mean playing? But sometimes I used to wonder, this guy is doing it because he fundamentally loves it and is going, or is he doing it to impress somebody else? That feeling we get. It doesn't have, I'm just giving some examples. And we can easily make out. And it's not big difficult to make out all. So, and so that thing comes, that the pressure to be somebody else, that I have to show myself by doing this only, I will get approval from others. Drinking. I told you, big parties, I'll have orange juice or something. Water is enough for me, but orange juice. And then my boss told me, Jay, you're going to ruin your career if you drink orange juice. This is what he told me. But I made it easy for him. I said, I don't want a career, sir. Don't worry. Only if I want a career, I'll ruin my career. Suppose I don't want a career, then what? Nobody can do anything to me. It became like, I didn't realize it became like. So adambhitvam, amanitvam, adambhitvam. Look at that. Look at the values, how loaded these things are. Why these are important? We have to pay attention to all these things. What Krishna is saying. Next, ahimsa. Ahimsa. So it's popularly we know this word ahimsa. Ahimsa paramo dharmaha. They say in our shastra. Very important thing, ahimsa. And we saw this word earlier. Yes or no?
I'm sure it has come many times.
Okay, many times maybe, but in Bhagavad Gita, I can only remember once. Only once. Okay. Chapter 10. Look up chapter 10, number 4 or number 5. Okay. Ahimsa samata tushtihi tapodanam yasho yashah bhavanti bhava bhutanam matta eva prithagvidam. Like that we saw. There we saw the word ahimsa. And there he's saying, this is Vibhuti Yoga, no? And so he's saying, all these are me alone. They're all coming from me because ahimsa is a value. And so even that idea that there is something called himsa, that idea that I am sensitive to himsa, this human mind is the mind that can pick up this himsa. And therefore the ahimsa becomes a value. All this is me alone, like that he says there in that chapter, in that shloka. Okay. So this is a difficult concept to understand. It requires a lot of understanding. That is why it is difficult to follow. Ahimsa is not easy to follow. Okay, not easy to follow. And this golden rule is there. What is the golden rule? Treat thy neighbor like yourself. Means treat your fellow human being, any human being. Start with humans at least, okay? Human being like you treat yourself, like you would want them to treat you. Very simple. Golden rule is that's very simple to follow. That is, thankfully, this is there. That is why nobody can claim that I didn't know that you would get hurt if I threw a stone at you. They can't claim. They can't claim. That defense is not acceptable. That's why in the court of law, no defendant can say, I did not know that if I shot somebody, that person will die. I did not know that if I beat the person with the stick, that person would not get hurt. We can't say that because it's common experience. Common experience, even for the most uneducated person, also common experience. Therefore, this hurt is something we have to understand. Kayikam, Vachikam, Manas. Three ways in which we do action. Kayikam, with our body, physical limbs, legs, hands, okay, main parts of the body through which we act, we perform actions. And then Vachikam, another organ of action called the action of the organ of speech. And then Manasam also is important. Okay. Three ways in which we can hurt people. Hurt anything. People. We'll start with people. Okay, we'll come to others later on. Kayikam, very obvious physical abuse, physical hurt is always there. We're throwing stuff at people, slapping people, hitting, pinching, okay, knocking people to punching. All these things are all hurting people, others. Okay? You know, long ago, there was somebody who used to physically hit their children. I happened to be there at that time. They used to invite me or they used to talk to me. So I was invited and this happened in their home. Okay. You know what I said? I said, you know what? next time, if you want to invite me, all these things that you're doing now cannot happen in front of me. If you want to invite me, you better make sure you don't do all these things. Otherwise, there is no need for me to be friends with you also. There's no need. Because when you do this in front of me, you're actually disrespecting me. And you asked me for some advice, etc. And you're doing all this. This is not acceptable. This is not acceptable. And your children may actually, if they call the police, you'll be in jail for a long time. In America, this is a fact. One phone call is all it takes, mister, and you can be incarcerated. This is what I told him. After that, he just didn't breathe a word of this. So we have to call it. We have to call it. We have to be crystal clear about our value system, so that when we go out there, we don't get our priorities. We don't allow others to change our priorities and our value systems. Not possible. What will happen if I say this? What will happen is this idea, it's a cancer. Nothing will happen. They will think that you are a value-driven person. That's all will happen. Nothing. Okay, you lost a friend. Okay, that's okay. You lost a friend, but he will remember it for the rest of his life. He'll remember. No, I'm doing something that's not right. I'm doing something that's not right. I'm doing something that's not. Okay. So that's okay. So that's a good lesson for him. For us also, it's good. And we know what to do when such situations arise. Very important. So we have to act out our values. We have to act out our values. Only then those values become strong for us. We ourselves should believe in those values. Otherwise, it's a lip service. We don't want to give lip service to all these things. And so, kayakam. Animals, can they hurt others by their lips, by their paws, hands, legs, etc.? Can they do that? Yeah, it's possible, of course. Every animal uses their hands to fetch their food. They kill animals. Many animals depend on other animals. They're all carnivores. Therefore, they're constantly killing. The cat is constantly killing rats. And the rat is constantly killing something else. And this spider is constantly killing some other insects. And this is constantly going on. Constantly going. But somehow, we don't think that is himsa. Because they don't have kartritvam. It is not done deliberately. Deliberation is very important. It is not premeditated. It is part of their life. They are programmed to do this. They are programmed. You cannot jail the tiger for killing a deer. No, you can't. You can't punish the dog for barking or even biting somebody else. You can punish the owner of the dog, but not the dog. You can take the owner of the dog to court. His dog, he did not leash the dog properly, and therefore look what it is. Owner can go to jail. Why? Because owner has kartrutvam. He could have prevented this, but not the dog. The dog cannot prevent this. Because dog's life is instinctual. Therefore, animals, even though they are powerful, they use their limbs all the time. We can never say animals are doing himsa. Apparently hurting. Animal is getting killed in the process, but it doesn't come under the category of the himsa that we are talking about. This is deliberately hurting somebody for my own personal benefit. Correct? I mean, we have to define himsa somehow, right? Creating a hurting somebody for my own personal benefit. Why am I saying for my own personal benefit? You go to the hospital and the nurse is going to now hurt you big time. You know why? Because she has a big syringe in her hand. With a big needle, that too. Not a thin needle, big needle. Lot of liquid is there in that syringe. She's about to hurt you. Yes or no? Is she committing himsa? No. She's not committing himsa. In fact, I am stretching my hand. Go ahead. Go ahead and hurt me. I'm inviting the hurt. Therefore, does not come under the category of hurt at all. Therefore, this himsa discussion should not apply there at all. It is meant because she is not hurting me for her benefit. She is doing it for my benefit. Therefore, it can't come under that category. Whereas if somebody throws a stone at you or pinches, if this young boy comes and quietly pokes a needle at you, then you're going to say, why did you do this? It becomes an argument at that point. No, you can't do all these things. Do you know it hurts people? Yes, then why did you do it? So some discussion has to happen there. Okay, so therefore we have to know, we have to interpret. This is highly interpretation based value, correct? Because there is a war. This is a war situation. There is so much hurt, killing that's going to happen. Massive amount of bloodshed is going to happen. And they call it dharma yuddham. They call it dharma yuddham. It's all for dharma's sake only. That means what? There are certain kinds of violence that can be allowed for the sake of dharma. Somebody has to decide. Who decides what is dharma? Who decides? All these questions will come. And so, yeah, it should come. That is fine. That is why so much. What is that? Sarasa samadana bheda danda chatura. That is why all these things. That you think 3 times before you take the next step. 3 times debate before you take the next step. Debate before the next step. Okay, so all these things we are aware of, and so ahimsa is a value that is difficult to follow, because the next step now is himsa on human beings. Now we have to talk about himsa on plants, environment. All these things are going to happen. If I can't even appreciate ahimsa towards fellow beings, where is the question? Where do animals and plants stand in my life? They don't appear at all in the radar screen. And so all that will come. So we will discuss that in the next class. Ahimsa being an important value. Okay, so we'll do that. Om Swasti Prajabhyah Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha Go Brahmanebhyah Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyaha Prithvi Sasya Shalini Deshoyam Kshobarahitaha Brahmana Santu Nirbhayaha Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ